So thanks everyone for joining us on our second webinar in this series. And this webinar is all about closing NetSuite job costing deals faster with lower industry pricing for Project SOS. So I'll just quickly run us through an agenda here. So today, what we have planned is to give you an overview of Snap-on Software and NetSuite's partnership. We'll review a number of industry verticals, address pain points. We'll walk through those specific pricing strategies, enterprise versus per user, and then the Project SOS pricing. And then we have a fun little interactive piece at the end to test your knowledge. So I recommend sticking to the end for that. Before we begin, here are a few quick housekeeping items. So the webinar will run about 50 minutes, including intro and Q&A. It's being recorded, so we'll share the recording with you early next week. And if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box. That'll just make sure that we see them when it comes time. And finally, let us know your thoughts and feedback through the poll that we'll share with you near the end of the webinar as well. First, I want to introduce Snap-on Software and our partnership with NetSuite. So Snap-on Software is the product development sister company to Appficiency, the creators of Project SOS. So while Snap-on builds the solution, Appficiency brings the implementation, the industry insight, and the functional context to make every demo land and every rollout succeed. So as you know, Appficiency has been and will continue to be a top SDN and alliance partner the NetSuite ecosystem, and we've spent years building our strong reputation for delivering job costing solutions, extending the NetSuite platform, and supporting businesses across industries that we'll walk you through today. So our consulting expertise is not changing. The Appficiency brand remains and will continue to provide that core service arm and continue providing that same industry-leading NetSuite service that our clients and NetSuite relies on. So I'll introduce our speakers for today. We have Johnny Than, CEO at Appficiency, and Carlos Palacio, CEO at Snap-on Software. With 30 years of experience in corporate IT and enterprise applications, Johnny has worked with over 300 mid-market and Fortune 500 clients. As the founder of Appficiency, he has helped develop innovative NetSuite solutions for over 1,000 businesses. Carlos Palacio is the CEO of Snap-on Software, and he brings 25 plus years of global tech leadership. He leads operations, delivering impactful software across the NetSuite and Microsoft ecosystems. And Carlos has advised CEOs on M&A IT strategy, built multiple scalable products, and work to streamline global operations for maximum efficiency. So very excited to have both of them. Great industry experts joining us on the webinar today. So I'm going to pass it off to Carlos to introduce Snap-on Software.
Thank you, Rebecca. So for everyone here, our software arm has evolved. We have evolved, and now we have created an arm that deliver our software products, and that's where Snap-on Software comes in. Snap-on is focused on multi-platform software development, expanding our ability to create cutting-edge, adaptable, and integrated solutions that snap on seamlessly to the core of the business applications. With this dedicated software arm, we are focused on job costing and key industry enhancements within the Oracle NetSuite ecosystem. So what does this mean moving forward? Our consulting services remain under Appficiency brand, as Rebecca mentioned before, while our software products and solutions will now be deployed and enhanced under Snap-on Software. You can expect the same product, but they will just keep getting better and better. This shift sharpens our focus, fosters innovation, and enables us to even greater business success for you and for our clients. You can expect that we are building products by industry, research them, and not just from one perspective, and not only for NetSuite. Now, let's look at what Snap-on Software and Project SOS can do for you.
Awesome. Okay, so let's jump into these industry verticals that we mentioned. So when we take a look at Snap-on Software and specifically Project SOS, it's clear that prospects can come from a wide range of specialized verticals. Johnny, Carlos, can you take a step back and walk us through what Project SOS actually is, and then what industries it's best suited for?
Sure thing, Rebecca. I'll take that at first. Project SOS is not a generic solution. It's actually built for specific industries where project-based work is the primary operational challenge. Project SOS is basically a pre-configured solution suite built on NetSuite. It's designed to streamline project-based operations across key industries. It addresses real-world challenges that a lot of platforms that do project-based functionality don't seem to quite do right, such as job costing, billing, resource planning, and profitability tracking. Often they require tailoring the generic platforms, and so we built a suite that is already pre-tailored to specific industries, offering that tailored functionality for construction, creative agency, ad tech agency, engineer to order manufacturing, and more. With these industry-specific bundles, Project SOS is going to help all the organizations scale efficiently and improve their financial visibility and reduce manual work in terms of tracking projects.
And exactly, let me go next. We have identified 5 core verticals where Project SOS has delivered the strongest results. Each one of our bundle is now tailored to unique needs in each of these spaces. So it's not just software. It's a purpose-built solution that evolves and solves a real pain in that particular niche. So let's break them down. First, we have engineering to order. So firms that build custom product with no SKUs. They need flexible costing and tight production controls. The second one, agencies, marketing, media, and publishing depend on real-time resource planning and profitability tracking. Then we have architecture, engineering, and design firms that handle complex projects, and they need tools to stay on budget, on time, and compliant. After, we have construction with teams that juggle fieldwork, subs, change order, documents, and etc. That is where Project SOS will keep them organized. And at enterprise level, it is just a cross-project visibility and that's reporting and scaling without complexity.
I love that. So it's more than industry specific. It's meant to scale with them as they grow.
That's correct.
Okay, so firstly, let's dive into architecture, engineering, and design firms. Johnny, what should reps know when identifying a strong fit for the AED prospect?
Great question. For a lot of folks, they don't even know that this vertical exists. But AED firms, architecture, engineering, design, are the firms that are the catalyst for all the major construction projects you see around the world, whether it's large government level, multi-billion-dollar construction projects, or whether it's custom homes. AED is involved in all of them, and they are a key function in the space. They have complex project tracking requirements, and if you want to be able to identify one quickly, you should listen for terms like AIA billing, retainage. They often do multi-phase projects, and they work a lot with blueprints. They are sort of that classic image of the person in a collared shirt but with a hard hat on at a job site. If they're using other software like tools like Revit, AutoCAD, or Crossbeam, Bluebeam, AnyBeam, that also signals a fit. When these firms are juggling heavy coordination between the general contractor, specialty and subtrades, and documentation for the cities and for permits and that type of thing. So that's right in our sweet spot.
Awesome. Yes, those are all really good identifiers. Carlos, give us the short version. What problems are they facing, and how does Project SOS help?
Absolutely. AED firms deal with a lot of moving parts, and we have designed Project SOS to target their biggest pain points. So manual job costing often leads to budget overruns, and we solve that with real-time cost tracking that keeps teams aligned and on budget. Uh, when it comes to financial visibility, our construction dashboard brings all the KPIs into one centralized view so nothing falls through the cracks. Billing delays, especially with AIA, are another major challenge that they will see. Our progress billing tool automates the entire process, speeding up invoicing and ensuring accuracy. For vendor payments, which often gets lost into the shuffle, we have processing that converts estimates into structured project tasks, keeping them organized and accountable. Um, Retainage management is another area where these firms lose time and cash flow, which is important for them. So we automate the tracking and releases of retainage, so firms get paid faster with fewer errors, and you will see why they appreciate that. And finally, manual document creation is a key struggle and a risk for them. So what we provide is our AIA document generator, which produce accurate and compliant documents that integrate directly into NetSuite. It's all built to reduce the friction, boost their speed, and give these firms all the control that they need.
I love that. It's targeted and practical, and it seems really easy to act on. So thank you, Carlos. Next, we have agency. So this includes advertising, media, and publishing organizations. Johnny, what should reps keep in mind when spotting a strong fit prospect?
Yeah, great question. So it's funny because they're so different from the last company type that we talked about, which is the AED firms. Agency firms, these are the firms that we all know that help brands that we know and creators with everything from campaign strategy to content production. They're fast-paced, project-heavy, and often juggling lots of clients and deadlines. For them, everything begins with the job jacket, and everything for them revolves around what the totality of that job needs. And so reps should listen for terms like campaign management, media buying, subscriptions, or mentions of ad tech, Marcom. They are often the folks that work in agencies are often either spin-offs or are part of the big six top brands out there like WPP, Omnicom, Publicis, IPG, Dentsu, etc. And they have very specific project needs. Their projects start long before they actually get the first client PO or the first client payment. And if they're using tools like NetSuite, they are also likely using tools like HubSpot, Salesforce, or other media platforms, especially media platforms for the buying side. And they'll talk about buying insertion orders, buying eyeballs, tracking media marketing campaigns across multiple brands and multiple regions. All of that has to hit the job.
Awesome. Got it. And Carlos, what are the top challenges that these agencies are facing, and how can we help?
So the key challenges that we have seen through our work with the agencies, for starters, are agencies often manage multiple sales orders for one client. So our consolidated invoicing simplifies that into a few cleaner invoices, easy for everyone to manage and deal. They also deal with disconnected buying systems, as Johnny was mentioning, and specialize in media planning. Our custom integration pulls all that into NetSuite for full visibility. From the finance side, manual vendor billing slows things down, and how we address that is we automate the approvals and support with virtual card payments, which reduce admin time and boost their cash flow. Revenue and cost tracking is another key problem that we have seen, and how we see this is that the sales and purchase do not align together. So when you see that, it's a key thing to identify, and we tie all those together at the line level for a clean and accurate reporting. So we have managed to resolve that key point that the agencies feel. And finally, agencies often wait on a client payment before they can pay vendors. As you know, it's difficult to maintain the cash if they don't do it in that way. So our Pay when pay features links AP and AR, so vendors get paid once the client does, helping the cash flow and keeping everyone happy.
I love that. It really takes the way that agencies work and accounts for that. Okay, so now let's move on to specialty construction. These are trades like electrical, plumbing, HVAC, concrete, and framing, and many more. Johnny, what sets these firms apart?
Yeah, these are the firms that actually we all know and probably associate closely with construction, but they are in their own way a unique animal. The specialty and subs are the guys and girls that do roofing, fencing, foundation, HVAC, electrical, so on and so forth. Interior work, exterior work, building windows, and building floors and building roofs. So that type of work is done often by firms that are specialized in that, which is why they're often called specialty. They usually report their work and get paid through a GC, a general contractor, who then gets paid from the actual owner or the bank. And so the specialty often has staff on there that are, have been working with them a long time, very specialized in their field. And so they are often also called self-performers, and their needs are mixed. Sometimes they have subcontractors that they pay as trades to come in, like a tiler, but they might also have a significant amount of staff that are full-time employees, and they need to track payroll and sometimes union wages as well. So they often deal with custom materials. Their materials, even though you might think, well, if they're just doing concrete, it's just simple concrete. You buy a bag of concrete and off you go. And that's what we think maybe as a retail consumer, but for them, concrete has 18 different forms and 36 different variations, and they mix and match their own. And so those materials in that custom format, they don't fit into ERPs like NetSuite very well. And so traditional ERPs don't know how to job cost that very well. Project SOS is that answer for that type of thing. So folks like this, you want to listen for job costing, potentially field service, key project costing, budget to completion, and of course, general job costing and WIP.
Makes sense. Carlos, how does Project SOS support this complexity?
Well, firstly, we tackle job costing. I think it's one of the biggest elements for this category. A lot of these firms use limited tools, which lead to inaccurate project visibility. So Project SOS automates real-time job costing in NetSuite, built in NetSuite. So this is quite important. They don't need to go outside their environment. And it does it across labor, material, and custom inputs. So teams can track budgets and profitability with confidence. Next, billing is another big challenge that they have. Fixed fee billing slowed things down when done manually. So we automate it with the AIA style progress billing using real-time job completion data. So invoices go out faster and the cash flow comes and improves. Estimates and change orders are also something that we have detected as a big pain point for the industry. If they are not tied to the product plans and financials, things will go and fall apart quite quickly, and then it's difficult to manage. So we connect those pieces together, turning estimates into task plans and synchronizing changes directly into NetSuite and to the system. And for retainage, our automated tracking ensures deductions, recoveries, and balances are all accounted for, reducing all those manual errors or inaccuracies and improving the cash flow at the end.
That's great. And how can reps know if they found a good fit for Project SOS?
Thank you. That is a very good point. If you're talking to a firm and you hear estimating, change order, retainage, job costing, WIP, those are great signs that you're talking to them, and that Project SOS is built to resolve all these pains that we were talking. If they mention self-performed labor or issues with AIA or progress billings, there you go. They are having those struggles, and they need visibility and control that we can provide with our solution.
Amazing. That's key. And I love that you mentioned that it's built within their NetSuite ecosystem. I think that's a key point to drive home. finally we have ETO, so engineer to order. Johnny, this is a unique one. So what should reps know when they're qualifying these types of companies?
Great question. So ETO and engineer to order is the industry that you don't really know about, but all of the big industrial guys, they know about it because they need these custom robots, custom machines, custom parts. So really engineer to order is companies that sit at the intersection of construction and manufacturing. They build custom made to order products. And you may not even call them a product. They build make to order specific things. And those things have exact specs. There's no mass production and there's no standard SKUs for this. There's sometimes some standard parts, but the majority of what the value they bring is the custom part, the custom engineered part. And so reps should listen for things that are for companies that have low volume, high dollar projects, and they produce a physical thing which is never repeated. Each one is unique. Phrases like design to spec, build to order, CAD-based takeoff, and so on and so forth. These are all very common ETO terms. And they'll track metrics very much like the specialty sub and construction companies will, with WIP, estimate at completion, budget at completion, that type of stuff. You're probably talking to an ETO shop. And they might also call themselves a job shop. If they mention complex inventory or payroll or unique reporting needs, they're likely a very strong fit. They're not discrete manufacturers. They're solving one-of-a-kind jobs, and that's where Project SOS comes in.
Okay, awesome. So very different pace and process, it sounds like.
Yeah,
Carlos, can you walk us through what makes ETO so operationally challenging, and then how can we help?
For sure. So ETO firms face a few big points pain points that I want to highlight. Firstly, they often rely on rigid BOMs, which don't work well with custom builds. So we resolve that with itemless BOMs pulled from estimates or CAD takeoff, improving the accuracy and cutting the timelines up to 20%, which is significant for them. Second, time tracking is a big issue. So labor is expensive and poor logging throws off budgets. So we offer integration with real-time stopwatch that ties hours directly into tasks, reducing the labor costs, improving planning and visibility. Even when time is tracked, it's often not linked with the right job or task. So we fix that by tagging the time to specific work orders and synchronizing those with the cost and WIP for the completion of the records. So giving full visibility and reducing the discrepancies up to 15%. Job costing is another pain point that we have seen in this industry, especially when the project scopes change. So it gets more complicated to manage. And we enable real-time budget versus actual tracking across all cost types, which reduce overruns and improve the forecasting that they will see. And finally, these firms deal with complex stakeholders relationships, client, vendor, subs, all tied at the same job. Our multi-child parent job structures make billing and revenue tracking much easier and reduce admin overhead, again, by 10-15%.
Okay, that's really clear. Thank you. So ETO is very complex, but we can definitely streamline it with the right structure. Okay, we've covered a lot. So now let's talk about one of the biggest tools in any sales conversation. Of course, it's pricing. So there's a lot of confusion around enterprise level versus per user pricing, especially when it comes to the long-term value. Johnny, can you walk us through how reps should think about this and then how it applies to Project SOS?
Yeah, absolutely. Most customers and most companies that are looking to implement ERP in the first place are doing so because they are experiencing growth and expect to scale. And the last thing they need is a pricing model that burdens them in that scaling. As they grow, they don't want to be paying more to really do what they were doing at the lower level anyways. And so what we've come up with is fixed cost regardless of users. So you're paying for the capability of the industry orientation that Project SOS brings to the NetSuite application in this case. And so that fixed cost, regardless of users, is truly enterprise pricing beneficial. Per user pricing might be better if you're starting with 4 or 5 people and you really just need a couple seats to get going. Per user pricing can be more advantageous early on. But if you're in that growth mode and then you're in that, beyond growth and fully in the mid-market and onwards, you really want fixed costs. It's much more scalable. It's more cost effective for larger teams. There's no concern about who can access this piece of information or that particular record or get into this particular portal. It's wide open. So as many people that can touch it allows you to have better transparency across your business, and it allows you to better enforce your process. We do offer volume discounts based on grouping business lines together, and that helps folks as well. But it's very predictable for budgeting, and ultimately you get a much higher ROI on your product. And isn't that the purpose of having software as a service? So we're trying to innovate and pioneer in this industry, really a flat-based pricing per corporate enterprise.
I love that. I like that you touched on its kind of predictability, and ultimately it will provide a better ROI for that right customer profile. Thank you. So to tie things back, Johnny, can you walk us through a few quick things reps should know about how Project SOS's pricing is structured?
Yeah, I think the first and most important part is finally somebody is doing public pricing. And so here we are, we're making it public. The whole world can know. It's valuable for everyone to understand what their cost is. You can plan it right from day one before you ever talk to Appficiency at all, or the SOS group. So you can see what we've done as well as price it by industry. So different industries need different things. And so the feature set matches what that industry already needs. We know what it is. We've had enough customers now. We've packaged it appropriately so that all the functional pieces you need will be there. And so you can see construction has its own price. AED has its own price, that industry that nobody knows exists. Agency has its own price, the one that people didn't even realize needs Project SOS and needs a much more attentive job costing feature. That's agency. And then the most complex is actually the cheapest because they often have needs that are broadest across multiple different industries. And so they're already paying for software across other parts of their business. They don't need to pay for too much more to get what they need to collect it all together and truly have good project costing. And lastly, for the enterprise, we give them every feature and every new release possible out there. And that means that the enterprise gets the full benefit of it. This is for companies, typically north of 50 million in revenue, and they're easily going to be able to predict their costs here. This will be a rounding error for them, but it allows them to have as much access as they want to the project details across their business, which is incredibly valuable for them. So we're excited to offer public pricing and really organize it by what people need and by the business types that they are themselves familiar with.
I love that. Yeah, I love how it's structured by industry and it's very clear what's included. You're not having to cobble together different solutions. It's very clear what each industry solution includes. All right, so we've covered bundles, we've covered pricing, we've covered verticals. But the real kind of accelerator in deals we know is having the right support in the room. So Carlos, how can Appficiency help SaaS teams close faster?
I think, and I'm going to steal this from Johnny. It is simple. Just bring us into your demo early. I think that is the first key thing. What do you think, Johnny?
I totally agree. Ultimately, the customer needs to hear from someone that does walk the same walk they walk, that is in their shoes, understands their pains, has heard their terms before. They don't have to translate their world into our world. We translated our world already into theirs. And so we're all just in their world, and that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, totally. And that's kind of where pricing strategy becomes part of the story, right?
Correct. If you're talking to a company with custom workflows, low volume, high volume projects, or specialized operation needs, they are perfect candidate for Project SOS and enterprise pricing. Instead of stitching together multiple tools and multiple systems, they get a single purpose-built bundle, cheaper, faster to implement, and built to scale within NetSuite. So that is very appealing for them. And again, loop us early. We will help you to shape the story, connect the real business value for the client, and help you to choose with to confidence what the client need, so you can close the deal all the time.
Yes, yes, exactly. The right message, the right expertise, just always equals better outcomes. So let's close some deals together, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now that you've got the tools, the talk tracks, the strategy, let's put some of these learnings into action. This is kind of where we'll switch gears and do a quick test your knowledge to make sure that we've communicated kind of the right way to qualify these leads and kind of speak to their pain points. So let's see what's stuck. So we've got a little guess the vertical game here. So this vertical designs and builds products based on unique customer specs. They operate kind of like a hybrid of construction and manufacturing. They use CAD. There's an indicator, and takeoff sheets in early design and planning phases. They rely heavy on custom parts, and they're not SKU based. They also have detailed project management. That's a key to their operations. So I'll give everyone a second. If you want to guess in the chat, is it AED, agency, construction, ETO, or enterprise? So this one was ETO. Next, we've got organizations who perform labor with internal crews, sometimes using non-skewed finished goods. Typically, they work under a GC. They commonly have specialties. They might require FSM tools, AIA billing, progress billing, change orders, and they may also refer to themselves as subs. So who do we think they are? Do you have any comments happening? Yep, I see a couple people guessing in the chat. So they are construction, specifically specialty contractors in construction. Next, this vertical offers specialized services like consulting, advertising, legal, or creative work. They focus on resource planning, time tracking, project profitability, and some keywords here. They use terms like CRM, ERP, and PSA for operational efficiency. And they may refer to themselves as Marcom, ad tech, or professional services. So who are they? So those are agencies. Okay, we're wrapping up a little bit early here. Thank you so much to our lovely speakers. I'm going to actually take some time here to open up the Q&A box and see if we've got any questions ready. Oh, we have a good question here. So, Johnny, I'll ask you this one first. How do you figure out which verticals to go after? I guess they're specifically kind of talking outbound.
I think the way that we look at finding the right verticals to actually go after in service with Project SOS is those that are actually underserviced. So when you look at customers that have looked at multiple standard ERPs, have come to NetSuite in the past and said, I don't really feel like this is what I need. Those are the ones we want to go after because we know the functional ERP capabilities of NetSuite are there and can service what they need. They just haven't seen it in the way that they need to see it. And so Project SOS does that. And so whenever we see a loss, we look at it as an opportunity for a win.
Totally.
It sounds kind of cheesy, but it's true.
Yeah, I like that. Changing the perspective of the customer. That's always a win. Can either of you give an example where Project SOS is what made the deal kind of stick and lead to the sale? Maybe without giving client name.
Carlos, you want to take that? You want me to answer that one?
I can take it, but I'm not going to mention the client name, unfortunately. But and we have seen this in multiple of our deals that we have closed. When we come into the table early in the conversation and we are able to show the client the expertise on that industry and that we are simplifying and giving value and resolving those pain points, that is where we have seen that Project SOS clicks and the sales is much smooth and faster, and there is an easy way to communicate during the sale. The client saw the value of the proposition, identified and relate with those pain points that we're feeling, and so how our Project SOS was covering for each of those pain points. So that's where the deal clicked and was a no-brainer. And on top of that, when saw that was in NetSuite, was not an extra system attached to NetSuite, they just loved it. That they didn't have to move around, and any analysis that they were doing was within the same platform.
Fun. How do you position kind of, I guess, along that kind of idea, Carlos, that it's all within one platform? How do you position Project SOS as not just another ERP add-on?
Here's the first thing, and I will take it following up what I was mentioning. Because it's not outside NetSuite, it's not an extra add-on. So it's built in inside the ecosystem, looks, feels, and react, and is within NetSuite. So people don't need to learn something else. They don't need to rely on another external source, and they know that they can count with the information that they already have in the system and that are entering the system. So all fits together, where you have some other add-ons to the ERP, you start having challenges of how the information translate, which information is available, and other type of things, even training. So definitely when everything is within NetSuite, like our Project SOS, those are challenges that you don't even need to face.
Very true. This is a good one. Johnny, maybe you can answer this one. How do you explain the bundles without overwhelming people? Because there are a lot of inclusions in those bundles.
Yeah, I think I actually think that the way to explain the bundle is to not talk about the bundles at all, and it's to talk about the industry. If if it's a duck, it gets a duck outfit. If it's a bird, it gets a bird outfit. If it's an eagle, it gets an eagle outfit. So what we're trying to do is say, if you are of this ilk, if you are of this type of company, then just buy this. This thing has it all. We know this. We've worked enough with you, folks like that, and that's all you need to buy. The rare exception might be a company that's large enough that it has multiple verticals inside of it. They might be a construction GC and also a fabricator, which is really an ETO type company. And so in that case, they can really just go to the enterprise and know that they're covering all of it. But the easiest way to talk about and understand which bundles to choose is just look at the industry label. If that's your industry, that's the label, go with it. It'll work.
Awesome. Couple more questions here. This is a good one. So kind of how did the Project SOS pricing come to be? And what do clients usually hate about other ERP pricing models? What made you go this route?
I can start.
Yeah, please.
I think that the first thing is that in most of the models is they're not built to allow them to grow, and they are scared. What if now I'm growing and I need to pay another 10 license, another 15 license? Now the solution is not the scaling with them. How we approach it is you don't need to worry about anymore because you have visibility of the pricing. That is your cost. If you grow and we are helping you to grow, that is a win for all of us, and you will stay as a loyal client of us. But we are not limiting your growth or the use of the system because we are not charging by the number of users. Also, the pricing model where everything is an add-on. So you start with something and then you don't know how much is going to end up costing you because you need to start adding components. That is where our pricing model that encompasses all the needs based on the pain points of the industry comes to resolve. So that is from my perspective how we are addressing that issue that the clients have raised.
Yeah, that's great. The scalability and predictability is super important. It's going to grow with them over many years. Okay, I think that's it for questions. All great questions. So thank you to the audience. I'll leave everyone kind of with the note of reaching out and engaging Appficiency and Project SOS on your demos. We have the industry knowledge. We're here to help. We'd love to meet with you to learn more about your prospect and how our specific solutions can help you close more deals ultimately. So Johnny, Carlos, any last messages?
Thank you for the time. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.